Hello everybody, welcome back to the Yotso Tech Tracks YouTube channel. This is going to be the last video for now about the front suspension. I have to start working on the rear because I don't have too much time left between now and going to work. To recoup, everything is bolted up now, everything is tightened up, it's tightened to specs, and everything looks okay. The one area of concern I do have with this vehicle, I have to keep an eye on it, I'm not sure if it's a big deal or not. The proximity between the CV boot and the shock absorber arm is a little bit too close to where I would like it to be. However, everything is put together properly, tightened up, and these are the clearances. So I'm not sure why Stellantis, Chrysler, Ram, whatever you want to call it, designed these parts to be rubbing so close to each other. It's not a problem. If I turn the steering wheel for you guys, these gaps do open up. However, I would like a little bit more of gap there. This is pretty much full droop, minus a little bit of a load on the suspension on the bottom, so this is as bad as it gets. However, it's pretty much in a couple of millimeters apart. I hope that's okay. We'll see in the near future how that holds up. If they don't touch, that's a good thing, because as soon as these CV boots hit anything, they're going to get cut and the grease inside goes all over the place, so that's a bad thing. Anyway, everything is good to go pretty much. The only thing I had to really modify, once again, this kit I put together myself. This is somewhere between a 2-inch and a 4-inch lift kit on this truck now. I had to replace the factory sway bar end links, as you guys may or may not know from previous videos. As soon as I tried to loosen up the top one, they snapped on both sides. It seems to be very weak and thin right underneath the bushings. It's very thick and beefy underneath, however it tapers off to a very tiny little size underneath. It is what it is. I think it's about 8 millimeters, 10 millimeters. The diameter of the thread is not too strong, but I guess it's not designed to be serviced on and off, on and off. So this is a 5-year-old truck, 20,000 kilometers. I took it apart and boom, it snapped. Not a big deal, 60 bucks each, and it's brand new. One thing I wanted to show you guys is this lower ball socket for the sway bar end link was factory put into the lower control arm here. However, I wanted to move it forward and up a little bit because of the suspension lift on this truck. The lower arm is on a different angle, and it would have positioned this upper bushing at an angle where these bushings actually like to be very parallel to this arm. This is pretty much close to ride height of the vehicle, so this will be how they look driving down the road. I wanted these to be very parallel with each other to give a long life to the bushings, because if you deviate from this angle too much, it's going to pretty much wear these bushings out very quickly, and it's also going to put a lot of pressure on that thin part of the sway bar end link, and it will have the tendency to kind of want to break it off. However, it should be okay. It looks good. It's greased up and ready to go. The bottom I made from just aluminum blocks laying around. I could have used a single piece, however I want to make it very strong, very durable. It's not something I'm concerned about in the future. It looks very heavy duty. Together these are about 3/4 of an inch thick. They're bolted together, sandwiched together with 1/2-inch bolt here, and whatever thread size of this sway bar end link is just under 1/2 inch. I didn't really measure it, but it's irrelevant. That is factory design. So this brought this lower ball socket out and up, because to compensate for the difference of the suspension hanging down a little bit with this lift kit, and also it made the upper bushing a little bit more happy for the long run. You don't want these to be twisted too much driving down the road, because they're going to wear it out and they might start clunking and making a noise, and that's the least of the things you want. As I mentioned on the previous videos, the upper control arms, they don't have any provisions for those little clips that hold the wheel speed sensor lines on. So what I did was it's a little rubber hose I cut inside to keep the plastic from rubbing off the powder coat. So that's got a rubber underneath it, it's got electrical tape above and below, and I zip tied it for security. So that is pretty much ready to go. If I go from full lock one way to the other, it is not going to be any pressure on that electrical connection. Brake lines look good, back to straight. Everything is bolted up, ready to go. The wheels are going to go back on very quickly. Like I said, I only have a few days before I have to go to work, and I don't want to leave everything to the last moment. So I'm going to be working on the rear, which is going to be a very simple install compared to here. It is just going to be a spacer underneath the coil spring and a couple of shock absorber extension brackets that I'll show you guys. I didn't find anything available for this truck very cheaply for the rear, so I went with something that was designed for a Chevrolet. However, it's a 2-inch shock absorber lift bracket. The shock absorber width of the shock absorber eye is the same size on this and the Chevrolet, so that is just a small bracket designed for Chevy, but you can use it on this truck as well. I'll show you how that turns out. Once again, new brake pads. Brake rotors are going to get cleaned up whenever I drive them. They will just machine themselves to a nice smooth shiny finish, so that's good to go. Everything else looks okay on this truck right now. As far as the geometry, I aligned the toe. Camber looks okay. I will double check that later. On the driveway I can make the truck very level with a bubble level. Even a modern smartphone, you can adjust the angles of everything, and you can check the camber on the wheels. If I need to, I can adjust that, but it's something that looks okay by eye. So let's see how tire wear is going to be in the future. If I need to, I'll take it to alignment shop, but judging by the camber, it looks okay on it. Caster should be okay on both sides, and the toe is now very well adjusted, at least by as much as I can do it on the driveway. It's not something I would like to go to an alignment shop nowadays if I don't need to, and save a few dollars there. So thanks guys for watching, staying tuned. The wheels are going back on, and I don't think I'll get the rear started today. I just want to position the truck backwards, so I'm actually working closer to the inside of the house instead of further out on the street. So see you guys next time on the Yotso Tech Tracks YouTube channel. Bye bye.